Howdy guys, it's Joe here, and today we're going to be talking about a top 100 Mercy at a point in his career, Eeveea. Now, of course, this is a Mercy player and didn't get this high, so do remember that. And I feel like it's a really good example about how to play Mercy, and really good about the way that you can play Mercy. Of course, a lot of people play Mercy one way or the other, but this guy plays it in a very good calling out, very good safe way that focuses on healing, and it's overall really quite strong. Mainly shot calling seems to be the thing that pulls him out the majority of the time. If you actually ever bother to watch this video and listen to it, he talks like all the time. He talks about plays, talks about things that are going on, and talks to his teammates about things that they normally really wouldn't be thinking about way too much. He'll call out where people are, he'll just call out what's really going on. As I feel like a lot of people just kind of don't do that. And of course, when you're playing someone like Mercy, it's a thing that you can do quite easily. Alright, there we saw a really nice ult. Of course, they're charging their ult super fast. You don't always have to get a 5-man ult. If you see a good situation where you have even a slight advantage, or when you ult, you will have a slight advantage, it can be a good idea to go for that. Mercy's ultimate charges really fast, and you shouldn't be saving it as much as you probably think that you should be. I feel like a lot of people, they think that it's a thing that you have to save for so long until your entire team gets wiped. No, it really can be like this where you use it just when the time seems to be right. Unfortunately, right there, of course, they got into the point, but then they had a Symmetra. I think they had a teleporter that they didn't get down. I can't tell exactly from that, but that did seem to be the thing that happened. But now that they're right here, they're ready to go in again, and as you can see, the Mercy ultimate is almost already charged fully up again. So, he used his ultimate, but he still almost already has it up again, so you really shouldn't be way too worried about that. Anyways, from here we can see a really nice thing where he does keep canceling his shifts. He shifts in just a little bit so that he can get really close range, so that of course he can heal, and then he goes back just a bit. Right there was a really cool example as well, because he knew that his Reinhardt had his ultimate up, and even though he only got a single man revive, they know that they could probably go in right here, maybe get some damage out, maybe get just some really nice kills out, and of course after getting a few picks, they could just run in and really kind of womp through. So right there, it's just a single man ult, but still, even with a single man ult, they did win the team fight, and of course they did win that point right there. I'll continue from right here, he's just shooting around. And even with this player, you don't have to be like the best aim in the entire universe. If you just know where to position yourself, especially on a character like Mercy, and you just know when to go in and when to stay out, and when to shot call, and when to just wait for your team to say stuff, you really can pull out a lot more than you think you could. Alright, there you saw the situation where you should probably back out as his teammate died, so of course he does exactly that. Waits next to his team and goes, mainly, for the most part, he tries to go for the backline when he does jump backwards. You can decide to jump backwards towards your front line, but most of the time it's a better idea to shift backwards towards your backline, towards your Ana, towards your soldier, and then start healing your front line when you are that far behind. Again, we see right there, really nice small ultimate, didn't get way too many people, but since they are on this really nice push right here, you can just kind of ult and just continue from there. Really just say, if you can focus on one thing, it's seeing how he just doesn't save his ultimates for 5 million years. Of course, especially if you are playing on offense, it's really good to try to get as many multiple pushes as you can and multiple ultimates as you can. As if he would have saved it, he would have just died right there and he wouldn't have really done way too much at all. Continuing from right here, of course, he's just damage boosting whenever he does have the opportunity. Of course, when you don't need to heal a teammate, or when your teammate's at like, half health-ish, but you see the enemy's really low, it can just be a really good idea to go for that ultimate. From there, he's just calling out, maybe come over here, I can try to heal you, and then just keep running around, trying to get as many picks off as they possibly can. And as you see, again, his ultimate is really charged up, so even though you just used it a second ago, it's already almost fully charged. There we go, it's fully charged right here. Now what he can do right here is stay pretty far back around the corner, where he can still heal at maximum range, but at the same time, if his team does get completely wiped, he can go for his ultimate, and he can actually revive all of his teammates. Right, he's probably going to wait for one of his teammates to die. He's probably waiting right there for that guy in front of him to die, and then maybe ult from there. But didn't actually happen. But his team did still win the team fight, so they could just keep going from right there. Another thing that's really cool about his ultimate is that sometimes you might be, equal in a team fight, then one of your teammate dies, and then you're about to die yourself. What you can often do is just ultimate. Maybe you'll only be saving one person's life, but you're also saving your own because you are getting invincibility from your ultimate now. Of course, if you guys do remember that change, so that's a pretty nice thing that you do have to kind of remember from time to time. As well with this, I would like to mention that she is with an Ana, which I feel like is extremely strong with having Mercy Ana. Of course, Ana gives you a lot of nice engage, also gives you a lot of nice anti-heal, a lot of nice pick potential, while Mercy gives you a lot of just consistency. Mercy feels like a really consistent character that can just keep up the heals and keep up the damage boost on the team as well, and of course, get a lot of very consistent ultimates up, while Ana, I guess they're both kind of inconsistent-ish ultimates, but I don't know. I feel like you can play the Mercy ultimate game pretty consistently. Continuing from here, though, we just do see really nice positioning. Of course, getting the high ground, always a pretty good idea. As well, you probably want to have a teammate that's on the high ground, like that soldier right there, because if you can shift and then cancel your shift halfway through, or I guess your flight, I don't know what exactly it's called. If you can happen to cancel that halfway through up in the air, it can become pretty hard to shoot you. And as well, if you are playing Mercy and if you want to become any good at her, try to make sure that you know how to strafe in the air really well. That's one of the most important things that I'm seeing all the time right here. And one of the first things that I saw when I was looking into the comment section of this current VOD, or I guess the Twitch section, is a lot of people were like, this person isn't aiming the best. This person isn't, 100% the best at every single thing in the game. And while the aim doesn't really matter way too much, we can see that he's doing a lot of other stuff that's very, very important. And that should give you an idea that aim and, 100% carrying every single person on your team, that doesn't always win you all your games. It can win you quite a few, but simply positioning well, talking to your team, telling them what's going on and telling them maybe when to engage, telling them when your ultimate's up, telling them when everything's going on, it can do a lot more than what you would think so. Especially playing Mercy, I'd say, especially when you're playing this character that's really a lower impact than some of the other supports as far as just her regular kit. It can really pull out a lot of stuff that other supports won't be focusing on as much, because as most other supports, you're probably wanting to be focusing more on damage, more on engaging, while with Mercy you can focus more on a bit of defense, you can focus on what people are doing, and you can focus on telling your teammates maybe how to pull out some better strategies. So maybe you should focus on that if you're playing this character. Now, of course, as well, we don't really see her shooting out way too many bullets, the Mercy, which is probably a good thing. A lot of times, it's just better to damage boost, of course, because then you don't have to waste the time switching from, your bullet to your healing, which takes a while, and sometimes you could just kill your teammate by not being able to switch fast enough, and as well, just damage boosting often does a little bit more damage than you're shooting anyways. And, of course, if you can't aim the best as a third option, it could be a good idea to go for that. Now, from right here is damage boosting the soldier, probably the best idea. When you are behind a Reinhardt shield, you pretty much want to damage boost the soldier or the Roadhog, as Roadhog can maul through the enemy's Reinhardt shield, while Soldier can, of course, get a lot of damage or just happen to burst a lot of the squishy people, and he still does really decent damage against the Reinhardt shield. Alright, there, damage boosting and, of course, healing that soldier, trying to get someone around the corner, and here just kind of walking around. He does see that these ultimates are all up, and, of course, he's telling his teammates, our ults are all up. We can go for some really nice engages right here, and something that you do maybe want to remember is that if you are already winning an engage, don't immediately go for your ultimate. I feel like a lot of the times, maybe one or two of your teammates die when you are Mercy, and you're in a team fight, and you just immediately ult, even if your team's winning by a lot. And I'd say that's not always the best idea. Sometimes you might just want to wait a little bit, and if your team starts to lose a little bit, there you go, you can go for your ult. But if your team just keeps winning, you can save your ult for the next engage, which might happen immediately after, because if your whole team already ults, then the enemy team will probably have all their ults, and they're probably going to be ready to go in. Or here, though, they're just waiting around, trying to see what they can do, and trying to just stall for as much time as possible, because, of course, that's mainly just what you have to do. A nice thing that I like to see right here is that he's hiding right behind this wall. A lot of times when you are really, really, into the time as Mercy, you don't have to focus as much 100% on being right there next to your team healing them. You can really just hide around the corner and, of course, heal them when they do walk back to you. And you want to play really, really safe, as if you don't get killed, of course, you can get a 5-man ult and you can pretty much automatically win the team fight. While if you know that an enemy is always going for you, or if you just know that if you stay forward up that you might have the possibility of dying, a lot of the times it's just better to play a bit safer, as it gives your teammates a little bit more room to play unsafe, as they know that they're going to be revived really no matter what they do. As well, a really nice call out that he made is that he said to his team that there's a Sombra in that room. So they went to the room. They didn't actually kill the Sombra, but they did get the pressure off of the Mercy. You do have to kind of make sure that you are calling out when people are coming back to you, as the backline is Mercy. Because I feel like a lot of people just kind of expect that, when you're playing Mercy, people automatically know when you're about to die. That doesn't always happen. You kind of need some help. Right here, we see a Sombra, of course, trying to aim as well as he can, trying to shoot him, and just running away. Of course, that Mercy heal is super nice. It makes sure you don't die way too much. And of course, if you are playing Mercy, you could play a little bit more defensive than that in that exact situation. But overall, pretty good. And then just continuing from here, his teammates just kind of whopped the floor and just ended the game. Overall, though, what I really, really do like about this guy is the simple fact of just how he plays and how he positions very, very well. As well, mainly just talking to his teammates, talking to them, especially when he needs help. As I feel like that's the main thing. A lot of Mercies do tell their teammates when they have their ultimate up. They do tell their teammates when to go in maybe and when they can get some really nice healing. But a lot of times they just kind of seem to forget that they need to tell their teammates when they do need help themselves. And then they complain afterwards when they didn't get help. Your teammates don't know all. And especially if your teammates are very, very aggressive, always looking around the corners, always looking around the walls, they could especially use a little bit of help by you, no matter who you are playing. But that's generally just all that's been going on through this, and the most general stuff about this Mercy player that I feel like is very, very effective. Of course, if you did learn anything, make sure to tell me down in the comment section down below, and tell me if you like this Mercy plays. I feel like it's really quite interesting to watch, just seeing a Mercy really being able to get all the way up there. I feel like a lot of Mercies don't believe in themselves, and they just don't think that they can carry games. You can win a lot of games, and you can help yourself get a nice win percentage. Even if it isn't every single game, you still can do well in a lot of games. Anyways, with all that said, thank you all for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, have a wonderful day.